The late afternoon sun baked the asphalt outside a lonely roadside diner in Arizona, a regular stop for truckers and bikers crossing the state. The bell above the door rang as 17-year-old Emily Carter stepped inside, dust clinging to her boots and a worn leather jacket hanging loosely on her shoulders. The jacket was clearly too big for her slim frame, its sleeves creased with age and its leather cracked in places. To Emily, it was priceless. To others, it looked ridiculous. She walked toward the counter, unaware that a group of bikers had already noticed her and were whispering among themselves. The bikers were rough-looking men in their 30s and 40s, wearing club vests, heavy boots, and confident smirks. One of them snorted loudly and nudged his friend, nodding toward Emily. Another laughed openly, making a joke about kids playing dress-up in biker gear. Emily felt the eyes on her immediately. Her grip tightened around the strap of her backpack, but she kept walking. She had learned long ago not to react. Growing up without her mother had taught her how to stay quiet, how to move forward, even when people underestimated her. As she passed the biker's table, one of them leaned back in his chair and laughed louder. "Nice jacket," he said sarcastically. The others chuckled, enjoying the moment. Emily stopped briefly, her face flushing, then continued toward an empty booth near the window. That was when everything changed. One biker froze mid-laugh, his eyes locked on the back of Emily's jacket. His smile vanished. He leaned forward slowly, squinting as if he couldn't believe what he was seeing, stitched into the faded leather. The patch was small, old, and slightly torn at the edges, but unmistakable. It wasn't decorative or trendy. It was a symbol, one that meant loyalty, sacrifice, and earned respect in the underground biker world. The biker's throat went dry as recognition hit him hard. He grabbed the arm of the man next to him, whispering urgently. One by one, the bikers noticed the patch. The laughter died. The jokes stopped. An uneasy silence filled the diner as Emily sat down, unaware that the jacket they mocked had just shut them all up. The silence around the bikers' table felt heavier than the engine noise outside the diner. Emily slid into the booth by the window, resting her hands around a chipped coffee mug. She noticed the sudden quiet, but assumed the men had simply lost interest in her. One of the bikers slowly stood up. He was tall, broad-shouldered, and carried himself like someone used to command respect. Instead of walking away, he adjusted his vest and headed toward Emily's booth. The other bikers watched closely, their expressions serious now. Emily tensed as he approached, preparing herself for another comment or joke. Instead, the man stopped a few feet away and spoke calmly. "Miss," he said, his voice low, "where did you get that jacket?" His tone held no mockery, only cautious respect. Surprised, Emily hesitated, then answered honestly. She explained that the jacket had belonged to her mother, who passed away when Emily was young. Her mother had ridden across several states, fixing bikes, helping stranded riders, and never asking for anything in return. The biker nodded slowly as Emily continued. She told him her mother earned the patch years ago after saving a fellow rider during a dangerous breakdown in the desert. It wasn't something you could buy or copy. It was given once, and only to those who deserved it. The man swallowed hard and stepped back. He turned to his group and gave a short nod. Without a word, the tension broke. One biker removed his helmet respectfully. Another placed cash on the table, more than enough to cover food for the entire diner. The leader returned to Emily's booth and quietly apologized for the disrespect. He told her her mother's name was still remembered, spoken with honor among riders who valued loyalty over image. Emily felt her chest tighten, pride and grief mixing in her throat. When Emily finally left the diner, the sun was setting behind the desert hills. The bikers watched her go in silence. She walked toward the highway, her mother's jacket heavy on her shoulders, but her heart lighter, knowing that some legacies never fade.